Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Cab Crew Wednesday on this May 27th of 2026. It's the last Wednesday of the month. Hope everybody's doing well. And see how everybody's doing tonight. We got Randall dropped in for a little bit. He's at work, so he might not be chatting too much. So he might be popping in and out every now and again. But welcome, Randall. I hope you're doing well. Then we got Bob from PKW Model Works here. Hey, Bob, welcome. How you doing? Then we got Dwight Curley here. Hey, Dwight, how you doing? Then we got John from Schuylkill River Valley. Hey, John, welcome. How you doing tonight? And then we got Mr. Chuck Shriver. Hey, Chuck, how you doing tonight? Glad to see you in here. $5XT. What's a $5XT? All right, got everybody can hear me. That's good. Everybody saying hello to everybody. That's good. Keep up the camaraderie there. I hear the chickens, of course. Of course. Yeah, they all automatically come on, Bob, every night. So it's pretty good. So, and I got two places where their chickens are pecking away. One on the lower farm, and then one up on the top level farm. So I showed that in the video before, but they're pecking away. They come on around the same time the sounds come on. So it goes pretty good. So weather, it's got a little warmer lately, finally. Today it was 85. Right now it's 80. I think it dropped down to 79. Yeah, Bob, I know. It's not that difficult. All that is a soundboard, nothing to it, and it has a TF card, and you put that in your computer, copy an MP3 file or whatever, a video file or sound file type, put it on there, and then all it does is turn that device to on, and it starts playing it automatically because it reads that file. Can't get too tricky with that. It's not a complicated board. All it does is play the one MP3 file. So we just made the file a big file, and it plays all that the same stuff over and over again, and does that. So it's not difficult, and all you have to do is hook it up to DC power, and you have. See, I have it automatically coming on and off, and that's just with a smart plug that gets turned on automatically and shut off automatically. So, yeah, there you go, Dwight. Yeah, it's not that difficult, but it's pretty simple. Like I said, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So, I gave you the weather report. Today it was real cloudy here, and then late in the afternoon, the sun came out finally. So it was pretty good. So yesterday it was sunny and warm, and I started cutting my grass. I didn't finish it. I only did the front this time. I got the back to do yet. Got pretty tall, the grass. So got to do the back and see how it goes. Maybe not tomorrow, but maybe Friday I'll do the backyard. So get that. I got a brand new weed whacker. It's a gas one, but I couldn't get it started. I don't know what I was doing wrong, so I play around with it again another time. So I have to go there. Pittsburgh highs in the 70s for the next week at least. Today, my wife turned down the AC, and then I ran a heater to stay warm. Jeez Louise. Yeah. No heat. I haven't turned the heat on in a while. And so it's not too bad, though. So what I've been doing lately is, I did a lot of work on some things that I haven't had a chance to get around to doing on the layout. And that was getting the subway system put back together. And I got all the panels up, and that took a while to do, especially after I redid the signals and all that stuff. Get the wiring all tucked up. I got that all done. And the other day, I was trying to run that train up on the 5th level. And, as I was going, car would derail, then I would try to fix it so it wouldn't and stuff like that. And 2 engines were having problems. And then I found more ballast on the inside rail up in that section that I didn't see before the other day. So I took a flathead screwdriver and cleaned it all out. And then I vacuumed it out. And I ran the train around. And the 2 engines didn't derail this time. Hey, John Nippenberg, welcome. How you doing? And then I ran around, but a car or 2 derailed. So I took them in, and Grandpa Rails, welcome, JD. How you doing tonight? There's a strong wind in the subway. Well, no, that's actually the fans in there, Bob. I put those, all that is a real fine thread, and I cut about 8 or 9 strings that made them so long, and I super glued them to the top of the fans so that when I look in on the cameras, I can see that the fans are actually working because they spin so fast, but they don't, I can't tell they're working or not. So if it's not moving the fan, the string, then I know it's working and stuff. That's what I put that on there for. So I have a few of them in the subway system, and they really cool down the subway system. They really do. So those little fans work really good. I have them so many distance apart and everything. So up on my yeah, there you go, Bob. So up on my yard, I have a section of track that goes in the back, on the back side of the yard, and that goes to my scrap yard up there. And a long time ago, I extended that about 2 feet long past the layout. And then it also was a little bridge, and I can take that out when I'm working back there if I need to and stuff like that. Well, the other day I put it back together because I was getting ready to put back up the backdrops because everything was done with the wiring and everything. And I noticed the red bumper light on the end of that track was very dim. The light wasn't even, they're supposed to be bright red, and you couldn't even tell that it was on. So I have a lot of toggle switches that shut off the tracks in the yard because I didn't want all the engines running and stuff like that up there when I had them sitting in the sidings or something. So I turned on all the toggle switches, and I still didn't have power going there. So the toggle switch that turns off that section of track, I traced the wires, and they were connected to the BD20, the feeder wire, and to the track wires with Waco connectors. So I said, let me check those connections. So I unconnected them from the Waco connector, and then I took alligator clips and clipped, and then I did all 4 wires. There's 4 wires for that toggle switch. 2 wires go to the, hey, Rick, welcome. 2 wires go to the feeders for the track, and the other 2 go to the BD20 and the feeder wire for the other track. Or the 2 go to the LED light, and the 2 other goes to the feeder. So there's 4 wires altogether. So I disconnected them all from each Wago connector and alligator clipped them together, and it came on. So I said, okay. So I took each wire, and they're freight, they're stranded wire. I don't ever use solid wire on my feeders or anything like that. Solid wire is not good for feeders. So I, twisted them up a little bit, and then I put 1 wire. Still, the other ones were still on the alligator clips. I put the other wires in the Wago connector. It stayed on. So I did the next one. It stayed on. I did the next one. It stayed on. I did the last one, and it stayed on. So I don't know if when I was tucking up wires, it might have pulled on it a little bit and it wasn't seated in there properly. I don't know. Because all you have to do is not have one of those 4 not connected, and you don't have no power. So that fixed that. So that was a simple one. This took me a little while to change the wire, undo them and first find where they were. That was the hardest part, figuring out which wires they were, and then taking them apart, putting the alligator clips on, and putting them back together. So they all worked. And those Wago connectors, I have them mounted underneath the layout with the 3D printed clip that I made for them, so that they stay up there. They don't dangle down. They slip right into that clip. And just like for the BD20s, Okay, Bob, no worries. We'll be here. So that took care of that problem. So then when I was playing around with that train on the 5th level, trying to get them engines to go around, and they were derailing all the time. I couldn't figure out where it was. I took the mountain apart up there, the tunnel. I took the tunnel apart so I could see the track as they were coming out from the other side to the one side to the other, and that's where it was failing up in there somewhere, and I couldn't figure it out. And so I decided to try a different set of engines. And one of them was the 2 engines on the inside track. And I brought them over and tried to run them through, or I never got to do that because I kept on trying the other combinations. But I had them over there, and they were getting in my way of the other train because I have a straight section there, and that's where I go up there and I put on the cars when I'm adding cars to the train. I can reach that point with a step stool to get there. So looking at it, and there's a turnout back behind those 2 engines, and that's how it can go all the way around or go the short way around. Okay, so I go down to my Alpha Central, hit the button for that turnout, and the light on the panel changed from red to green or green to red, or whatever it was, but the turnout didn't move. And I'm going, what's going on with the turnout? So I look at the turnout motor and I check the wires are connected because I thought maybe one of the wires came out of the motor or something. They were all in there. I said, what's going on? So I put my Blue Man on the track, and I had no track power for that was the inside loop for the 5th level. The outside loop I've been testing in running for last 2 weeks, trying to get the train to run, and that works. But the inside track, something happened now. So that's on its own bus line. So I started tracing it back from up top. I found out the bus line, and I found out that in the inside corner behind me, the wires go down behind the levels there. And I have a T connector there. And then I took that bus line and ran it around one way, and I ran the other wire around the other way. And they meet in a corner on the inside here somewhere. And so it's all the way around the 5th level. And I was going to disconnect it there. Oh, I did disconnect it there, and I put my meter on it, and I didn't have no power there. So I said, okay. So I traced it all the way down to the bottom level. Then I traced it across the back side of me, behind me. And then that went to 2 barrel connectors and connected to a wire that went to a terminal block. And then the terminal block went to the booster. Well, I checked the booster, and all the boosters were on. No booster was off or anything like that, or I would have had other problems if that was the case. So then I went to the EB1 for that bus line, and that has the DCC in and then the track out. So I disconnected the DCC in and put a meter on. No, I disconnected the track out wire because that was connected with T-tap connectors. I disconnected that and I plugged in a test wire I have, and then I put my meter on it, and I had 14 volts there. So I said, okay, from the booster through the EV1, the DCC wire, and then it goes out to the track, which is the bus line. And I had power there. So all I did was plug them back in, and boom. I saw the lights on the headlights on the engine come on. I put my Blue Man on a couple spots on the track, and I had track power again. So those connectors just needed to be reseated again, and boom, that fixed that problem. So doing other things, and then you see other problems. I like to get the problems resolved before I go anywhere else. So looks like a camera light came on. That's why you see that bright light on the screen there. That's what that is, a camera light. When I'm moving around, it must see me, and then the light comes on. Because I don't got no red lights on those cameras. I don't know why that's doing that. But the light came on. And so that's that. So I did a video, and some of you saw it, and some of you didn't, of my SW1 with my Soundtrack's 21-pin decoder. And that was the easiest decoder swap that I did in a long time. And the old one, I popped out the one that came with it, tossed it, and put the Soundtrack's decoder in. And then, like I said in the video, the reverse light didn't work. And as I was watching the video after I set it up in my video software, and I go, I bet you I know what happened. So I finished the video, I put it up there, and then I put a comment at the end of the video when I was talking about the backup light. I said, I fixed it, and I'll talk about it in my show. So all the wiring in that engine is connected to a board that Walters create. I guess it's a Walters board, and they have the wire for the lights and the motor and everything all have one of those little white connectors on it, and then you plug that into the board, right? So I traced the backup light wire to the board, and all I did was took my little flathead screwdriver, and I pushed that connector in a little bit, and that did it. Now it works. So what happened was, when I was putting the shell back on, that wire comes through the cab, and then it goes down and underneath the shell. And I must have, maybe I pulled on it just enough to move it out a hair and not make good contact or something. So I pushed it back in, and when I ran it on the layout, I just put it in reverse, and I saw the light came on, and I said, okay, it worked. So that was good. So that fixed that problem. No big deal there. So like I was saying, I think last week I was saying with that little SW1 engine, when it was going over the sidings in the yard, it was hitting the magnets that I put in to uncouple the cars. So I took all those magnets out because I've had other issues with them where a rolling stock car might hit them too. Like the couplers are all not modified anymore. So they might be just a hair low and they might hit it. So I yanked them all out. I did some research and I switching from the 322 KD 322, which is the above track mounted magnet. And they work really good, but the smaller engines are lower to the track and they hit it. There's no way you're going to get around it. The bigger engines, you have a little more clearance underneath them and they'll go over. But the littler ones, no. Hey, Pedro, welcome. How you doing tonight? So I said, I'm going to replace them with a 308, which is under the rail magnet. Because I have one. I'm doing fine, Pedro. Thank you. I had one on the bridge that goes over from the helix to the yard. So I tested a couple of cars on there and rolled them over, and then they uncoupled and everything. See, before they weren't, and that's because all the trip pins were bent up, and that's why they wouldn't uncouple before with the magnet. So now that I have all good couplers on, and they're all at the right height and everything, I don't have any problem running a train over the magnet in the track, underneath the track, and it'll uncouple it. So I went on eBay searching for 308s, and I found this guy. He's in Pennsylvania somewhere, and I ordered. He had lots of 3 of the 308s. He was selling them for in a lot of 3, and he had 3 of them left. Well, I have 18 places that I have an uncoupling situation. So I said, okay, I'll get half of them. I ordered 3 packs of 3s from him. That was on the 24th. Now, that was whatever, I don't know if that was Friday or whatever day it was, but okay, I can hide that comment. He on the site it says packet orders will ship 1 day after order. Okay. Well, it was the holiday weekend, so I gave him Monday. I thought maybe Monday late in the afternoon or something like that. Nothing. Tuesday came. I said, okay, day after the holiday. Still nothing. I sent him 3 messages, no response. I don't know. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's busy with something. It's in Pennsylvania somewhere where he is. I don't know exactly where in Pennsylvania. And the order says it'll be shipped here by between the 28th and the 30th of May. Well, it can never be here by the 28th or the 30th because it hasn't even shipped yet. So I don't know what's going. That's why I ordered it. I said by the 28th, 30th, I'll be able to do something, but didn't do that. So I got to get a bunch of 308s, and replace them in locations. When I popped off the old ones, at least I have my markers with the M on it. I 3D designed those markers, and the M on there means magnet. So when you look at my layout, I think I gave some to somebody else on the stream. Somebody else liked them and they wanted some, but I made them, and you can, when you look at my layout, you see a sign that has an M on it. You know that there's a magnet there, and if you run the train there, you can uncouple the cars there. So most of the sidings I have one. All the tracks in the yards have one. Couple other spots that I chose to do. So, and so that's another project, but that won't stop me from running the trains because it's just a little bit of extra work here and there that I have to do. So 2 weeks ago, I ordered resistor wheels from a guy, and it finally got here the other day. So today I started. I got 60 of them wheels, 60 wheels, and I started putting them on the trains that I have. And like I said, the reason I was doing that is because of the Fred car is at the end of the train, right? Well, that's drawing power, and that was telling the BD20 that it was on the track, and that would make the JMRI panel. It was going on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. So the cars before the Fred car, I put resistor wheels in them, and now they'll trigger the BD20 that they're present, they're there, and then that will stay solid. So it's the sound. I have sound cars on the trains. I got the Fred car on the trains and stuff like that. So I got a lot of the trains done with the 60 I got. I only got one left, and I put two wheels on each car, one in the front and one in the rear. It doesn't matter. Hey Russ, welcome. How you doing tonight? So it doesn't matter which side of the front. I don't have I have to worry about polarity on the wheels. I had these wheels that had the little white thing on the inside of the axle, and then you had to worry about which way they went in. I yanked them wheels all out, so I got all Intermountain wheel sets now, and they all work great. Don't have to worry about which way you put them on or anything like that. But so I ordered a bunch of those resistor wheels, and I got a bunch of them done. Then I counted up all the rolling stock that I have that is sitting on a siding somewhere, whatever. There's 24 of them I got to do yet. And then I got a train on the first level here. I got to do, there's 7 cars there that need to have resistor wheels on them. And then one more train. I have, that's the one I'm trying to get to run, but I don't know how many cars are in that train yet. So once I get that number, then I'll order a bunch of more resistors. Now, I was working on one of the trains that had my metal well cars in there. And they were the ones, the aggregated ones, the ones that connected to each other. Well, each one on the end, the one that had the coupler on them, they have a truck on the end. I took that off and I put a resistor wheel on that. That's a 33-inch wheel. Then I went to the next car, and that has a truck on it. And those were 36-inch wheels. So the cars in the middle of the train, however many of them you put together, the middle cars have 36 wheels on them, not 33. I don't know why they did that. I didn't change them. I didn't put them on. That's what came with Walters did that. They're Walters well cars, the metal ones. So I have to get some 36-inch, 36 wheels sets with the resistors on it. The guy makes 33, 36. I think he even makes 32s. I don't know what 32s are used for, but I use 33s for all my rolling stock. And some of them have 36 on them. So I don't know what's on the car carriers. I'll have to look at them. Maybe I'll get a couple bags of. Oh, that's a fan, Russ. There are fans there. That is some thin yellow thread on a spool. When my mom passed away, she had a whole basket full of thread, so I took it. Not that I do sewing or anything, but I always can use thread whenever you needed it. So I didn't even at that time I didn't even know I was going to have a layout. But then I saw yellow. Yellow would be easy to see, and I was telling earlier, I super glued that to the fan, and that just lets me know that the fan is working. That's all that is. So it's just threaded a thread. I cut him, a strand of thread, a little bit. Thank you, John. So makes it easy. That it also helps me, like I said earlier, it also helps me know if the fans are working or not. And sometimes I see the string not moving, but the fan's working, and it kind of like moved over to the side somehow. So I got to just move it back over a little bit, put another drop of super glue to keep it in place and stuff like that. So, but I have several of them throughout the system up there. I tried to put them above the conduit so it looked like that they were getting power from the conduit and stuff like that. But you only can do so much, So, yeah, so the resistor wheels are coming along. And the one train, like I said, there's two trains up on the 5th level that have the metal the metal well cars on them. The other train has the metal well cars on them, but they're individual ones. So I need more resistors for that train. But the cars are towards the front of the train, which isn't too bad that I don't have them there yet, because it's the end of the train that I got to really worry about with the Fred car. Because if that Fred ends up being in a different block than the engines are in, then that'll make that track flash on and off. So I put some cars with resistor wheels near the end of the train. And so I have 3 trains up there that I got more to get to put them on. And then the big train is the oil tank car train. I don't know how many, a little windsock, yeah. I don't know how many of those that I'm going to need for that train yet. So that'll be another thing to do later. But I might order a couple bags just to finish up a couple of trains up here. I need a 36 and some 33s. So, but it was surprising how that the cars in the middle had 36 wheels, and the ones on the end ones were 33s. Why weren't they all 36? I don't know. I could change them all to be the same, but they roll fine. I don't have no derailments with them at all. So the only problem I had is with the ones that were aggregated together on that section up there that I was having trouble with the derailing is it's a decline, and what was happening was it was coming out of the they have a little hook on them, a little hole, and then that little hole goes onto a little tiny pin on the other receiving car, and you slide that on, and then it locks it in but it doesn't lock it in. See, what it does is it just sits there, and one little goop, and it would come off, and then there was a derailment. So I don't use them on those 2 trains. I use them on the inside trains now, and they work there fine. No problems over there. And the big train that all the well cars are on up there in the 5th level, that has the well cars that are individual. All the well cars are individually done, just like the ones that I 3D printed. So that's the resistor project. So I showed you the NW2 engine that I got, and I got that around the same time I got the SW1, and I finally figured out how to open it, because the manual that it shows you the thing apart, but it doesn't show you how to open it. So somebody did on YouTube, somebody did a video of changing the something in the Walter's NW2, and then I saw what he did, and then I did that, and then it opened up. Pretty simple, and all it is a couple of clips, and then you have to push them in with a flathead screwdriver, and then the shell pops off. So wasn't too bad. And then I didn't know what kind of decoder to get for that one, because it has a decoder board in this one. The SW1, which is the same size, but it's a little different, it's a different model, of course, but it's the same length as the NW2. It had a board with a 21-pin decoder. This has a board decoder, but it's a little shorter than the smallest decoder. Are your resistor wheel sets for signaling or block occupancy detection? Both, Russ. And also, well, mainly for block occupancy detection. Signaling that I have is all based on whether the block is occupied or not. Okay. I use JMRI, and in JMRI, I have signal logic. And in the signal logic, it checks to see what signals are before it and after it. That's on the panel. And then when block A is occupied, that signal will be red. Block, let's say B, you got block A, B, and C. So block B is occupied, the signal is going to be red. A is going to be green, and C, where it came from, is yellow. Now, the train moves into A becomes red, B becomes yellow, and C becomes green. Man, you lost a sub today. Oh, Dwight, Russ, that's a screw to doing that. Hello, Eugene. Welcome. How you doing tonight? Thanks for stopping in. So, yeah, that's how I do my block. That's what I do for my block occupancy, Russ. And then the signals are based off of using NCE lighted and in JMRI, and that's how they all go on and off depending on if a track is occupied or not. And then also JMRI controls the dwarf signals for the turnouts too. Okay, and so I have green and red conditions for the turnouts. Yep. Yeah, I'm at like 610. Then I dropped down to 608. Now I'm back up to 610. And I always look in the notifications under YouTube, and usually you see new subscriber in there. I don't see no new subscribers. So that's a screw tube doing its thing. They even take away views from me. I put out a video the other day. I had 75 views on it. I came back in and looked at it at nighttime before I went to bed, and they only had 60. They knocked off 15. So they're taking away views from you. They're taking away subs from you. They're doing all kinds of shit. Nobody's going to unsubscribe from your channel unless you call them an idiot or a jerk or something like that. You know, if somebody got pissed off at you or something, they're not going to go on YouTube and remove their sub from you, okay? Because people don't do that. Look at all the subscriptions that people have for buying things. You go on to a website and you order something, you got a subscription for that. You might have it, you might have subscribed to it, you don't even know it, you subscribe to it. So there's apps out there that'll tell you how many subscriptions you have, and they'll cancel them out for you and everything. You'd be surprised how many subscriptions people really have. I only have one subscription. That's to YouTube TV. That's it. Nothing else. So I get to watch TV. Yeah, they do screwy things. That's right, John. They always change things. And they're always making, welcome back, Bob. So that's So with that NW2, I sent an email to Soundtracks. I said, what kind of decoder can I put in there? And they got back to me, but I had went on their website and looked at their decoder selection page they have on Soundtrack site. And that was very helpful because I went to, they have the brand names. And then you click on the brand, which was Walters. And then I scrolled all the way down and there was an NW2. They had it. So I clicked on it and then it told me which one. And then when I got the email back from them, that confirmed what I thought. So I ordered one of them today. And that guy usually, he's in New Jersey. So he'll ship it out probably tomorrow. So that's a TSU 1100. It's the smallest decoder that Soundtracks makes. It's the one with the wires on it. It's not a board. It's just like the TSU 2200, which is the purple decoder. That's the longer one. I could have put one of them in there too, but I don't want that big. I better have a smaller one. Yeah, right. You know, it's simple. Why unsub to somebody for no reason? So I just, and what's bugging me is that the guy from eBay hasn't shipped out my KD 308s. That's really bugging me. And I just gotta, maybe he must have heard me, maybe. Let's see. Oh, no, that's another email. So it's just strange how it's been 5 days now and it's one day after order type of service. Something's wrong somewhere in that thing. So I got a 3D printing thing to do. I think it was Rick. He asked me to print him some more people. So the wants me to print the O scale guys for him again, but making them 3 millimeters taller. So I gotta resize them all another 3 millimeters taller and then print them. I gotta set up my resin printer. I haven't had time to do that yet, but I'll get to it within the next day or so. Then I'll start printing them, and it's. I haven't either, Russ. There have been times where I had to resub to someone. Yeah, just to get notifications. Sometimes you don't get notifications of people. Now, in the morning when I get up, I started getting up an hour earlier than I used to now. And I used to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then by the time I get down, I get in the office, I start getting on the computer and I start checking out YouTube videos if anybody posts anything, and then I'll watch them then. But so I said I'm missing out on things, so I said I'll get up an hour earlier. So I do that. I check to see if anybody posted any videos, and then I watch the videos. Well, you can do that, Dwight, but what are you gonna do? So, like I go on my phone and I go into YouTube Studio, and I'm at right now 610 subscribers. and my watch hours went drastically down because I haven't been getting, I haven't putting out a lot of videos of. I noticed a lot of people are putting out videos that are an hour long. That's an awful long time to sit there and watch a video. So I try to keep my videos shorter because I know attention spans on people are about like that long. So, and if it's not interesting enough, then like, and then I reply to everybody who look at the things. So that's what I was doing. So I saw on YouTube on Memorial Day. Okay, now I celebrate Memorial Day because my father was in the service. He was in the Korean War. He was in the Navy, and so I celebrate Memorial Day. Now, he survived the war and lived a good life and everything like that, but I still support Veterans Day or Memorial Day and Veterans Day when that comes up. So, and I came, like I said, I came real close to being in the Navy. If I wouldn't have got a letter of acceptance at the college, I would have been in the Navy and not in college. So my video came out at 6 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah. See, I put my videos out in between 10 and 11 a.m. Seems to do well for me. And I get more views that way. Doing it. It depends on, what time your audience is available. So, but I see yours pop up, Russ, and I watch them. So, and so anyway, so the governor of this state is an idiot. So her and her cronies went to Newark, New Jersey, to where ICE is holding all the detainees, and they were out there protesting. Now, that's embarrassing to say the least. And it's disgusting even more so. So there was a U.S. senator with her there, and the ICE agents pepper sprayed him right in the face because he started advancing to them and doing whatever he was doing, and they pepper sprayed him. And they were all crying on Facebook how he got pepper sprayed and everything. And I'm going, great, good, got what he deserved. So it was pretty funny to see that. And how disgusting is the leadership of a state not supporting the veterans and the fallen. Yeah, that's a good idea, Russ. That's what I do. Well, I do a video, it's just a short thing. Now, maybe when I start running the trains and I put my Wemo camera or my Mevo camera on the train, then they might get a little longer. But we'll have to wait and see. But I would rather put out like 3 or 4 videos a week, but they're short ones, instead of making one long one and then doing it at the end of the week. I know a lot of guys do that. Okay, John, thanks for stopping in. Have a good one. We'll catch you later. Take care. So I would, right, exactly, John. I don't know what state you're in, Russ, but no, I didn't know that, Bob. Have you considered streaming in horizontal and vertical format simultaneously? I see you. I never heard of that, and I'm not going to mess around with something that doesn't it works. Yeah, there's a lot of idiots running around right now, Russ. I got to find a piece of paper. I'm gonna start a movement to get the current governor removed. So that's what I'm going to be working on the side. But the trains come first. But that's going to be a side project. Oh yeah, that could be. See, I never use my phone to watch videos on YouTube. I have it and I could, but I never use it to do that. I watch all the YouTube videos on my computer in my office because I have the reason I do that is because I have two monitors on that computer in there. Now I have two monitors on this laptop I'm looking at also, but the one monitor has the cameras, all the cameras on it, so I can look at that monitor and see them at a glimpse. Yeah, they like to raise the gas tax so they can put the money in their pockets. That's what they do, and they got to put a stop to this. Now, Trump sent a memo out to all the states telling them to um, to stop the taxes out of the gas, and they all, not all of them, but most of them refused to do it. And you can guess on who they were. Well, only thing I watch YouTube TV on my TV in my living room. And when the TV comes up, I could also click on YouTube. And when I was sick and not feeling well, and I was just sitting on the couch or laying on the couch, I might have watched a video or two up there for. Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, it's setting them up like a lot of like a show would. I I'm not a video guru by any means, and I just take the camcorder and start video. Now I'll put it on the tripod if I'm working on the workbench, and I can video what I'm doing. Then I use my phone to create the shorts. That's it. And they go up. And the only editing of the video I do is when I do it on the camcorder because I stop and start it a lot of times. And then I got to merge all the files together, stuff like that. Yeah. But see, I don't think you can comment on the TV. So I don't know if I like the idea of people watching it. I don't care where they watch it, but you live in all okay. That explains a lot, Russ. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can see more details on a TV, of course, but spam burger. Yeah, yeah. You got you got the California governor. I call him New Scum. Then you got the Oregon governor. I don't know what's going on in Washington State. Then you got Minnesota. That's a hellhole. New Jersey, New York, and I think the governor of Maryland's an idiot too. So there's a bunch of them around. Yeah, the interaction. Yeah, there is none. I don't think. I don't even. You can't. I don't even think you can. You can't click on the like button either on the TV. I know you can. You can comment on the phone on the YouTube app on the phone, but not on the TV. If they can give you the capabilities of, see, um, on my remote control, it gives me a mouse on the screen. I'll next time I'll watch somebody's video and I'll click the like button and see if I can click the like button on the TV. I never tried it because I can move the mouse around on the TV screen with my remote control. And then I could click on it. Then they should give you the ability to click on the comments field and use the remote control to. No problem, Bob. Yeah, they give me a pain in the ass a lot of times. Tina Kotex. Yeah, very good. Yep. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is around. And it's totally, totally getting out of hand. And so, but so I got a lot of things done, not my liking, but the train, I'm going to try running that tomorrow. And because I want to get the car carrier cars up there and running around too, stuff like that. So um, on the lower yard, I got a 3D print another stall engine house, one stall engine house for the second switcher that I'm going to have for that lower yard. So I already have one stall there, and I got to make another one. So that's another 3D printing project I'll do and get them going. And we'll see how that goes with that. And I want to get that oil train going, and I don't, I don't think they can like on TV either, Joe. Yeah, I don't think so. Thanks, JD. Yeah, one person. That's good. We'll see how everything is. But Yeah, so it was a bit a busy week so far, and things going, and hopefully we'll get a lot of people um, set up and working, stuff like that. Oh, Dave, welcome. How you doing? On my oil, ooh, I'll look it up, Dave, and I'll email it to you. Um, I got them from Amazon, Dave, but they ship them from China, and it takes a long time to get them here. I was ordering them directly from China, but I stopped doing that. And I found them on eBay, or I mean on Amazon. And oh, okay, no worries. And so a couple of my pumps go a little too fast, and the other ones were. I finally found a motor that goes slow, so they hardly even move. They're going real slow up and down. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So, but that's let's see. Um, Bring that screen up. Yeah, see, you can see how those pumps are hardly even moving on the top. The one to the left is moving a little faster. The other ones are moving real slow. And the two on the bottom level, or this third level here, they move pretty fast. They're the original motors that I had in there. Yeah, they're geared. Yep. And it has shafts on both sides, Dave. And they fit in there into that 3D printed pump. Now, the engine house that I got even has the files for the for a motor that'll open and close the doors. So I might look at that and see if that works. So, um, oh, um, these cameras are all IP cameras. They're all Ethernet. And when I got the last two I got, Russ, were two wireless, and they're Wi-Fi. That's for the two subway cameras because I wanted to put one in each corner. But all these others are with an Ethernet cable, and they're four of them are power over Ethernet. I don't know if you know what that is. That's PoE, power over Ethernet. So the Ethernet cable is plugged into a hub, an Ethernet hub that has PoE um, jacks on them, and you plug the cable in from your device into that hub, and it powers on the camera. So I don't have to have a wall wart for those cameras. So a couple of them I did, but then I saw they had the PoE cameras, and if I would have been smart, I would have got all of them PoE. But that's the way it goes sometimes. So yeah, they're very good. They work really well. Um, Once in a great while, they go offline, and it's because I was underneath and I bump the Ethernet cable or something, all the problems I've had is if I did something. Yeah, they work really good, and they're when the trains run, it even looks better. And as you're looking at that fan blowing that string, you can't on the original cameras that I had were all those Ys and Eufy cameras, and they just don't refresh fast enough. Yeah, there you go. Yep. Yeah, PoE is good. I learned about PoE because I was in the computer world, and I used to work in the networking department, and I knew all about that stuff. So, but PoE devices are more expensive than wired devices. So, but it's really neat how you just run an Ethernet cable from the hub, from the switch to the device. As soon as you plug it in and the camera comes online, it's pretty cool. Works out really good. So, and plus, this allows me to show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cameras on StreamYard at the same time. I use the IP camera software. That's the name up there. That's what it's called. That is, the cameras are they're SV3C. I'll just put it in the chat. SV3C. That's the brand of the camera. SV3C. And I got them on Amazon, and they were pretty, they were a little pricey, but they were well worth it because I was going with. Thank you, John. They were well worth. I was going through Wi-Fi cameras like candy. First, I started out with USB, and I ran USB from the computer in my office all the way out to the train room. And USB cameras are the lowest of the low in the pecking order of quality because you only can put so many in a computer. And if you put a USB card in the computer, you're still only getting channels available, and USB cards only give you so many USB ports. So, like I have 8 cameras on my layout. I have 2 cameras in the tunnel. They're Eufy cameras, and they work on my Alexa Echo device, and I can just open them up on there, and I can see inside the tunnel, upper and lower tunnels conditions. I wanted to put a camera up in the tunnel that goes between this side of the room and that side of the room because I can't see in there. But I didn't have a camera to put there, so I might get another type of camera to put in there, and then I could watch it and see what's going on with that. So yeah, Eufy, yeah, they work pretty well. I have one in the room next to me, and that one spins, and that watches the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen. And if somebody walks in there when I'm not home, then it'll send me a text message with, a picture of who it was and everything. So, no, what that is, John, is that's the camera in that corner of the subway. The cameras have lights on, and movement is making them come on. And I've turned off motion detection on the subway cameras, but I can't get them to stay off. They keep coming on for some reason, and I don't know why. So, but that's what they are. See, it came on again. See, I think it's seeing me move or something else move. And if I go up on that screen, one of the cameras up there. No, see, none of the cameras. See, on the IP software over here, when an alert goes off, the icon changes to red. And I don't see. Yeah, it looks like it's on the track, but it's not. I'm trying to think what corner it's in. Let's see. That's the 47th and 50th. This screen is the camera right above me. And that one is that camera down there. So this camera here okay. So that's that camera in the corner over there. So I don't know what is making that camera come on, but there's as you can see, that's bright light right there. Thanks, John. Yeah, a lot of work into that subway system. All 3D printed. The signals up there are all 3D printed. The panels and the flooring, all that, and the tunnel tops are all 3D printed. The only thing that isn't 3D printed, of course, is the LED lights. That's it. But yeah, that bright light is coming from. Yeah, it just went off again. So it's some movement, and it could be the fan blowing that string in front of the camera and making that trigger it to go off. I don't know. So, but that's what that does. Yeah, Eufy. Yeah, that's right, Russ. EUFY. They seem to work better than the. Let me see. What was the brand that I was trying to? Then the Y's, the WYZE. I can't get them to get back on the Wi-Fi. No matter what the Wi-Fi cameras, they need to be on a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Now, most of you guys that have Wi-Fi in your house probably have 5 gigahertz networks because that's what they put in now. And I think there's even a higher number now. Not sure. Okay. Most Wi-Fi networks support 5 gigahertz and 2.4 devices. But the Wi-Fi cameras, if they say they need to be on a 2.4 Wi-Fi, then you have to have a separate SSID. That's SSID. That's when you go on your phone and you go to Wi-Fi and you try to look up, get connected to the Wi-Fi. Those names that you see listed there, they're called SSIDs. And that's a name that you either create or the cable company created it for you or whatever. And however you got your Wi-Fi in your house. I set up my own network in my own house here. So I have my own SSIDs. And I have an SSID for 5.0 and I have an SSID for 2.4. And I put that in the name of the SSID so I know. So when I'm setting up one of those Wi-Fi cameras, I go SSID 2.4 and I click that and then it connects to that and then it gets on the internet and does its thing. So, but a lot of people, when they get their Wi-Fi set up in their house to get onto the internet, somebody did it for them and they only created a 5.0 SSID. And in that 5.0 SSID, you can connect 2.4 devices. Now, some of those cameras will support 5.0 and 2.4, but not all of them. So you got to be real careful when you get a Wi-Fi camera, how your network in your house is set up. You got to know how to use that stuff. So, but that's how it all works here. So I got rid of all those Wi-Fi cameras, and the two SV3Cs that are Wi-Fi, they work on the 5.0. So that worked out really good. So, and like you can see the flickering LEDs on these cameras. On some cameras, you can't. Okay. All they are is a fire scene. That's for the hobos, or that's for the hobos there. And these are the homeless people on this side. Yeah. See, that's the problem with laptops, Russ. When I get a laptop, I go into the power management and I turn off all the power management crap over. I don't want it to blank out my monitor. I don't want it to put the laptop in standby mode. I don't want it to shut it off, nothing. Because my laptop is plugged into AC power all the time. And that's what I'm on right now. I'm on a laptop here. If it had power management, my big screen up there would go off also. So I have to, I just turn off all that stuff. Never want to do that. And when I worked in the IT department, we had people calling up, "Oh, my screen went blank." Well, you need to go in and change the had to explain to them what settings you had to change and everything like that. So, but yeah. So if you don't want that to happen, Russ, you have to go into power management on your computer and look up and see what the if you're plugged into an AC power, it shouldn't shut off at all. But when you're on battery, then you might want it to shut off. So you have to check the settings in there and make sure that if you're plugged into AC current, it doesn't shut off the screen or the computer. But if you're on battery only, you might want to shut it down after 20 minutes or something like that. So you can control it in power management on your computer. So, all right, guys. Well, I've been on here for an hour and a half now. And I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. Appreciate you all. And I've been having all kinds of other problems lately, too. Probably it might be just the battery, Russ. You can reset the battery and see if that helps it. And you go with that. Thanks a lot, JD. Yes, so hope everybody has a good rest of the week. Don't forget to watch Jim Tedesco tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And anybody else's streams coming up, we'll see you there. And like I said, thanks again for everybody stopping in, spending time with me. And I hope everybody has it could be a power supply too. And spending time with me tonight. And we'll catch you all in the next video. Everybody take care and have a good night. Thanks a lot, Dwight. Take care. Catch you later. Chuck, thank you. Appreciate it. Russ, thanks a lot. Ending stream now. Yep, can't do that.